What is up, guys? I'm Mike from Caliber Gaming, and today we're going to talk about naming your channel and your branding. And I'm going to tell you the truth here. It's not as important as you think it is. Let's go. All right, first things first, I know starting a channel is daunting. I know it's a huge task. I know that you're worried about what you're going to look like on camera, or you're worried about how your gameplay is going to look, or you're worried about all kinds of things. You can DM me at any time. Now, I might not answer right away, but my DMs are open for literally everybody, and I answer every single message. I read every single message on Discord, on Instagram, and on Twitter. So you can DM me anytime. My socials are in the description of every video on the channel, so send me your questions if you have them. All right. Let's get into this. So I alluded to this in the intro of this video, but the name of your channel really doesn't matter. And I know that you're probably thinking, how could it not matter? This is what people are going to call me for the rest of this channel's life. Well, the reality is the name doesn't matter because your content is going to be the thing that defines what your channel is. Now, in the beginning, you're probably going to be experimenting with different games until you find what you're looking for, and until your content finds what it's good at, until you figure out what your content actually is and what game you're going to be playing, it really doesn't matter what your name is. And in fact, you shouldn't name it anything to do with any particular game. It should be something that maybe means something to you, but that's about it. It really doesn't matter what the name is. Now, the branding does matter, but it doesn't matter as much in the beginning of your content journey. All right, let's get into these two subjects individually because I have a couple of points I want to make on both channel naming and your branding. Your channel name and branding are going to be important once your content defines what the channel is. And that's when you're going to want to lock in the name and make sure your branding is on point. Don't be afraid, though, to experiment with your branding, meaning change colors of logos, change your themes of your banners or your Twitter headline or your Twitter banner or your tagline. You can experiment with these things to really dial it in. If you look at my Militia Gaming channel, it's gone through several iterations of new branding. But the one thing that has stayed the same is the name and the logo. The only thing that I've changed is some of the way the styling is on my banner or on my streams or my overlays or things like that. So feel free to experiment with those types of things, but keep in mind the longer you keep them the same, the better. All right, let's talk about naming your channel when you do get to that point. There are two schools of thought on how to name your channel. The first is naming it so that it tells the audience something. For example, this channel called Simple Val is a channel about making Valorant, the game, simple. And you know that by looking at the name of the channel. It's Simple Val. Perfect. Now, the other school of thought is naming it something personal to you. And that's what I did. I named it the Militia Gaming Community because it meant something to me and my brothers and my friends who were using the Militia tag way back in the day when we played Call of Duty. So that's something fun that you can actually do. You can actually just use your gamer tag as well. If you're attached to one particular gamer tag, you can just use that so people know that it's your channel. It's pretty common to do that. And like I said, the name really doesn't matter. If you look at some of the most famous brands in history, no one really knows what those names themselves mean, right? It means something to you. When you think of the brand Nike, you think about shoes, right? Well, that's because the shoes defined the brand Nike, not the word Nike. You get what I'm saying? In this case, your content is the shoes. The name itself has no significant value to most of the fans that are going to be watching your channel. All right, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, so let's move on to branding. Branding is important in the beginning, but it's not as important as you learning skills. If you're just starting, this is your first channel, you've never recorded gameplay before, you've never recorded audio, you've never been on Facecam, you need to develop those skills. That is way more important than figuring out your branding. So don't get hung up on getting a logo and trying to get a branding package together and figuring out what your styling, your colors are. All of that stuff is really not significant compared to increasing your skills and your value as a creator and putting out good content. That's more important. But when the content starts to define your channel, like I said earlier, the branding actually is going to be important because it's something that you want your viewers to recognize every single time. And the best way to do this is to start with a logo design. Now, if you don't know how to design a logo, that's okay. You can find places on the internet where people will design logos for you for not a lot of money. I'm guessing though that a lot of people don't have any money at the start, and so this is not going to be an option. And so just go on to some free design programs like Canva or something like that, where you can actually design a logo. The logo design will actually set the stage for the colors of your channel and the overall styling of your brand. My suggestion on a logo is to not go overly detailed and to stick with something that's easily recognizable and clean. This has always been my strategy when designing logos. The next step is actually to design a banner. Now, when you design your banner, it needs to be styled after your logo. So the same type of colors and the styling that you've done with your logo, you want to implement that into your banner. So the same text or the same tagline, all of that needs to go on your banner. You could also feature your socials on your banner. Actually will help your viewers find you outside of YouTube. It's a good idea to just throw them in there, but don't make them overly big. They don't need to be, they just can go right at the bottom. Also, you can put your logo on your banner, but from my point of view, your logo should go into your profile pic and it doesn't need to be repeated on your banner. The goal of your banner is to work with your logo and show off your personal style and your branding. And that's what you need to do with every other piece of branding, your profile picture on Instagram, your Twitter banner, all of that stuff. Just keep with the theme that your logo starts with. The more you keep your branding consistent, the more it will bond with your content in your audience's mind. And that is exactly what you want. You want someone to see a piece of your content and then instantly recognize that it's yours. All right, in conclusion, I just want to say there's 3 takeaways from this video. And if you don't want to watch me blab for whatever minutes this thing is, you can just watch this ending part. The name of your channel is not important. What is important is that it's not confusing and it's easy to say. The branding is important, but not as important as developing your skills. And ultimately, the content you make is going to define your channel, so don't get hung up on these 2 things. All right, hopefully I've helped you in some way, and this video isn't just a long rant about how things are not important. Once again, if you guys have any questions about anything, send me a DM. I answer every single one of them. I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Oh man, this is so hard to do without doing my militia outro. I will catch you on the next one. Once again, thank you. How do I fucking end this? Don't include the fuckings in this whatever outro mess up montage you're gonna make.